Oh, okay. All right. Well, okay. Looks like it was having a little bit of trouble trying to connect in, but I think we're connected in. Yeah, I'm telling you what. I love the rain, but I'm kind of like, all right, we can slow down a little bit on that rain, please, right? Anyway, it's raining here in Oklahoma City. It was raining at home over in Anadarko too today. And we definitely need the rain. Like I said, though, I wouldn't be bummed out if it kind of slowed down. But rain is good. We've definitely needed that. I'm using, I don't know what deck this is. I think it's Sacred Earth Oracle. And I was going to use the Earth Warriors Oracle deck, my Carlos Santana deck. I can't find it. I've got the box. So I'm wondering if I took them home or something to that effect. There's a deck sitting up on my shelf, but so I hope everybody is doing just wonderful today. Going to do a Thursday evening reading, and we're going to get a little bit of a weekend preview going in there. And chance always favors a prepared mind. I'm like, but chance does favor a prepared mind, especially when you think about insight and discernment, and you start seeing things and you're really not sure if it's a lingering energy, if it's something that's going to sit around for a while. How does it affect me? How can I weather through it? Or even better, how can I get in if it's a good vibe? How can I bring that good vibe closer to me? So, chance always favors that prepared mind. And I'm kind of like, usually they're really talkative. I've got this one deck. It's a gypsy deck. And I believe I left it at home. But that deck, I'll just tell you what. That was I did a little self-reading, and it was a little intense there. But, I kept getting the death card, okay? Kept getting the death card, wife, widower, and sorrow. And I'm like, what the hell? So I shuffled it really good, because I'm like, I'm not down for that. And did it again, and boom, they showed up again, and I'm like, So I shuffled them again. Hi, Donna, how are you? And boom, those cards came up again. So I said, instead of arguing with it, I'm just going to take this deck and I'm going to look at these cards and just see what I get. And it was interesting because, this was a personal reading for me. And essentially, the reading, as I sat, kind of took my time and just kind of looked them over. Okay, here's the rest of our cards. Don't go anywhere. Let me grab that. So I, looked at the cards and I just kind of laid them out. And I looked at them all together. And the story pretty much was something along the lines of my house. And I'm assuming this is the house that I just moved to down in Anadarko. And it was about my husband being very consumed with the house. And his energy was so focused in the house and trying to get things done and fixed and put together in the house that he was kind of like, and I don't want to say neglecting me, but not giving me the attention that I like to receive, okay? And that was where, that kind of came through. And so chance favors a prepared mind. So I was like, okay, so when he starts getting really into remodeling and renovating this house, and maybe he's not so at my side or easily accessible, like, hey, let's go out to eat, or hey, let's go run over here, that I need to not take it so personally, and that it's not me. He's focused on creating this beautiful home, a beautiful sacred space, a beautiful foundation for us and our family. So I was like, okay, I get it. All right. So, but I was like really resistant to that death card. All right, so let's take a look. I'm using the Sacred Earth Oracle deck, and I don't have the box handy, or I would show it to you what's up there, and I'll be honest, I'm not getting up to go get it, okay? Oh, I know, and that was the thing that I heard this morning out of his mouth, because, yeah, he has been through a lot, and he is feeling a ton better. But he keeps reminding me, that he's lost in his perspective or point of view. He lost 21 days to the dog bite and the infection and the PICC line and all of those health things. And I'm kind of like, no, just gave us 21 more days to really figure out what we want to do with that house. And he's kind of resistant to seeing it like that. But, I'm like, look at the better part of it. All right, so the energy that's coming in is the surface. And I laugh when I see this card, because usually when I see this particular card, the energy that I pick up on this is things coming to face value, coming up, to the surface where they're easily seen or recognized. So that's, kind of like this energy coming in, things coming up to the surface, or coming, and I don't want to say fruition, because it's not a fruition. When I'm looking at this, it's like things coming up. And I'm gonna, what I would, on this interpretation, when I'm looking at that, it's maybe things that we've overlooked or we haven't been paying attention to become blatantly in our face or blatantly in our space. And the next card there is the space card, but you'll see that it's upside down. And this card is in the obstacle position. So the energy that we're getting off of this obstacle has to do with it being very constricting or narrowing, putting us into, and I'm going to say it like this, putting it in between a rock and a hard space. So, or hard place, hard space, whatever. So it's something that, when we're seeing that we're going to have information or experience that comes to surface that we haven't really been paying that much attention to, we're actually going to be pushed up against the wall, metaphorically, or placed, in that corner, metaphorically, and we're going to have to figure out how we're going to get out of that jam. Because I'm going to call it a jam. That's the way I'm picking it up. It's kind of like, I'm going to say it's not like it's horrible bad news, but it's something that kind of creates a little sense of uncomfortableness there. Now, what happens out of this is that we're going to take a different route. We're going to take a different road, path, method of resolving that. Something that is not what we have done before or that we've practiced before, and definitely not anything or an idea that we have shared with anybody. So it's, I'm going to say it's a surprised kind of reaction to this little bit of confrontation that's coming up over the weekend. So we're actually going to respond to it in a manner that we have not responded with before. And, it's going to take some people off guard. Now, when they are off guard, when in this particular situation and they are off guard, it actually becomes a plus for you. You'll see that we have the discernment card. So in this, as you have a reaction to their action, what happens is that you're going to gain deeper insight to the motivation and to things that have been playing in this energy to create this surfacing of truths. So even though you feel like you may be pinned up against the wall or metaphorically in the corner there, actually what happens is that you see things on a greater level or at a greater level, more deeper. You see the why to what's happening and gain that knowledge or that ability to, and I'm going to use the word manipulate. And again, when I'm using the word manipulate with this, it's in reference to the good manipulation. So it's kind of like if things like your shoulder is dislocated and you go to the ER and they put it back into put it back into its place. Yeah, it's sore and tender for a while, but it's resolved that issue. So when I'm looking at this, that's what I'm looking, that's the thing that I'm feeling is that you'll be able to repair that or fix that or modify that or manipulate that back into a good groove, back into a good vibration, back into your light. Now, this has to do with the people that are involved in that surfacing. And you're going to take a break from that. You're going to take a break from them, from their vibration, from their energy, from their actions, from their words, whatever. I'm not saying you're going to ghost them, but you're going to take a break. You're going to kind of like separate yourself off. Okay, I need to calm down. I need to calm down before we connect again or before we sit down and talk. And that absence allows you, with this discernment, to see things much more deeper than on that superficial or that, the superficial or what you're seeing, what you were seeing beforehand. You might, it's kind of like our kids, that we can go through thinking or believing our kids are doing really great. And something happens or there's a slip somehow and we realize, oh, there's something going on here that I need to be aware of. There's something here that maybe I need to, stick my nose in and see what's really going on. And you find out that maybe they're struggling in school. Maybe somebody gave them some weed or some pills and they're a little freaked out about that. Maybe they're having some internal struggles and that response that we give them may not be the response that they need to hear, and that absence comes in. With that, sometimes you have to step away from that situation in order to gain the insight on how you're going to fix it. So it's, we have a reaction, but be mindful of that. Kind of let things play out a little bit before you get real into changing things through there. Or deciding exactly what's your long-term goal in changing things. Now, this card right here is saying that this energy, this vibration, this sense of unrest that you need to really take the time and look deep into, to see where things are coming from all directions. Kind of leaves you a little bit on the unsettled side. This doesn't mean that you're going to have issues, getting up and going on with your day. Not at all. It really refers to that this kind of this kind of sits in a rack, per se, for a while as you keep working through it and working on it in order to clear that potentially, negative vibration. Okay, it's like sometimes we see things in one way and we find out that they're kind of in a different way. Kind of going back to the, seeing the kid, and we're like, oh, I know this, this kid's always done really good things, but there's something that's triggered that creates this surfacing and this like, oh, okay, I always thought this was a good deal, and now I realize there's some things that really aren't that great in it. And we're going to have to make some choices and decisions on how we're going to choose to handle it. So use that discernment. That discernment is coming through. It's open. What I always like to say when I am working on something, all right, or even if I'm working on a client, and we're doing a little Reiki maybe, or a soul journey, and I'm seeing something, but it's not a real clear picture, I'll actually say, show me what I need to know. Show me what I need to know. Show me what I need to know. And then that energy starts flowing and it shows me what I need to know. I do that often when I'm doing like a remote Reiki for somebody, they're across the country or across the world, and I'm doing Reiki. And maybe I'm seeing something, I was doing a remote session today and I just saw like burning in the gut and then like a real dense spot. And so I'm like, show me what I need to know. I would do that when I was an ICU nurse and I had a patient with a ventilator, and I can tell that they're having pain, but I can't tell you where they're having pain. And I would say, show me what I need to know. And then boom, something would come up and I would see where their issue at that moment was coming from. So in the very same way, when you are in this situation and you're like, okay, I'm not really sure what I want to do on this, ask your higher consciousness, show me what I need to know. And it will come through. And then you can make the best choices for that situation. It ends up being a win-win. And even though we're looking at it like, some stuff that I probably have been ignoring for a reason is going to be up in my face. That's because it's time to fix it. The autumn equinox is coming up, and I always like to use that first part of September for what I call fall cleaning. And that doesn't always mean my house. That can also mean my mind and my spirit as well. So take advantage of that time and do your fall cleaning. So peace, love, and harmony. Do me a really big favor. Give me a heart. Comment something really cool. And don't forget to share. And I'll see you later.